Welcome back to the Bad Influence Podcast, Relationship Wednesday, where we tell you the truth about relationships. I'm the bad influence that you need in your life. Yours truly, Bjordan Banderas. And today, I want to start with a simple question. Ever feel like you're the only one fighting for your relationship while your partner rides the coattails? Based on your answer, I think it's time to face the brutal truth because I've seen this happening in so many relationships. I read the complaints on social media. I hear the complaints from my friends and people that I know that are in relationships. So it's time to face the brutal truth. If you're the only one putting in the work, something's seriously off. When one person constantly gives more than they receive, guess what happens? Just guess. Resentment builds, energy drains, and love starts to wither. The love that you had at the beginning of the relationship starts to die. Your relationship should be a two-way street, not a one-sided marathon. Because a lot of people, men and women, do this. Nobody's exempt from this. But I have seen that more and more men are doing this. And it's killing relationships. It is. It almost killed my relationship. Doing this almost killed my relationship. I still remember that gut check moment when I realized I wasn't fighting to keep my marriage alive. I saw my wife drifting while I scrambled to figure out the damage I had done, which prompted me to tell my wife that we needed a marriage counselor because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So ask yourself this right now. When did I last feel truly supported by my partner? That's a good question. This is how we're going to start with 2 questions right out of the gate. And if your inner voice echoes emptiness, that's your subconscious urging you to re-examine the balance. Because too often we assume our partner should already know what we need, right? But assumptions breed what? Disappointment. Yes, it does. Notice if you're the one constantly initiating dates, conversations, or reconciliations. Society tells us love should be effortless. But the raw truth is that relationships need constant mutual investment. When only one partner carries the weight, the scales tip dangerously on to one side. And if you're always the one reaching out, planning, and smoothing over conflicts, ask yourself this. Is your partner matching your energy or merely coasting along? Right? Like, there was a time when I barely put in any effort into my marriage until I felt increasingly isolated. I was on autopilot. This is before my wife got sick, okay? So I was on autopilot, assuming my wife knew my needs without a word. I thought she would know what I can do and what I cannot do. Because this was my first marriage. Or this is my first marriage, right? This is the first serious relationship that I ever had. So one day, I confronted the imbalance head on. I asked myself, am I truly being valued? Simple question. That painful self-assessment shook me to the core. I was like, if I don't feel valued, how does Katie feel? Right? Because if I wasn't feeling valued in this relationship, I was wondering like, oh shit, how does my wife feel? I mustered the courage to have a raw, honest conversation with my wife about this, which was hard. This was the moment when I told my wife we needed to go to marriage counseling because I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't easy, it was terrifying, but it was necessary. That conversation wasn't about blame, and I want you to understand this. Never put blame on the other person. Because when you do that, the other person is going to get defensive and it's not going to resolve anything. In this situation, I want you to see it this way. In my case, it was about building a bridge. And in your case, it should be the same. It transformed our dynamic from a one-sided struggle into a mutual quest for connection and growth. When my wife later told me, I didn't believe you were in this marriage, I realized the transformative power of working on this gap. It's not about keeping score, it's about mutual investment. Both partners should actively support and elevate each other's dreams and daily needs. Because trust and open communication and share responsibilities form the backbone of any relationship. And when both sides contribute equally, the relationship thrives. Which I'm pretty sure that's what all of you want, right? You guys want a thriving relationship. And if you do want that, if that's what you want, let me tell you this. A reciprocal relationship fuels personal growth for both parties. When you support your partner, you inspire them to lift you up. If you feel constantly drained, unappreciated, or like you're carrying the relationship on your own, these are clear signs of a one-sided partnership. And who wants that? Yeah, who wants that? Because over time, one-sided effort leads to burnout, resentment, and a loss of self-worth. And you deserve a relationship that recharges you, not one that depletes you. Neglecting to address the imbalance slowly erodes intimacy. Because here's the thing. This is what people don't understand, okay? Especially when you're in a one-sided relationship. Why would you want to open up or have sex with someone who is not putting any effort into the relationship? Right? Why would you want to do that? You start to hate that person. You truly do. You start to have all this resentment that it boils over into stupid arguments. And one of the things that I want you to understand today, which for some reason a lot of people don't see it this way, but then when they have problems, they're like, I don't know what happened, is unspoken expectations. Because when you have those kinds of expectations, the unspoken ones, those create invisible walls between partners. And this imbalance isn't just about minor annoyances. It can pave the way to deep-seated resentment and ultimately, which I bet is something that you don't want, the collapse of the relationship. True love isn't about sacrificing your needs for someone else's convenience. That's right. You don't have to sacrifice your needs and pretty much yourself for someone else's convenience. It's about both people striving to bring out the best in each other. Constantly giving more than you receive turns love into a chore. It truly does. You start questioning your own worth, and that's a dangerous place to be, especially if you're in a relationship, especially if you're married, especially if you've been married for 10, 20, 30 years, because I've seen this with people that have been married longer than that. So if you feel like you're having this same issue in your relationship and decide to work on it, start by journaling your daily efforts and the responses you receive. Now, let me be clear about this. This isn't about keeping score. It's about gaining clarity on the balance or imbalance. Initiate a conversation with your partner about mutual effort. Express your needs clearly without blame and invite them to share theirs. Create a ritual, maybe a weekly or bi-weekly meeting where both of you discuss what works and what's not working. Honest dialogue can realign your partnership, just like it did with mine. So always acknowledge and celebrate moments when both of you contribute equally. Because when you do this will reinforce positive behavior and builds mutual trust. Also, set relationship goals that require joint effort. Whether it's planning a trip, managing finances, or even a date night, work on something together to bond and balance the load. Dedicate a few minutes each day to reflect your interactions. Write down moments of support and moments of neglect. This clarity helps you see patterns and adjust your approach, which is important. So make it a habit to verbally acknowledge your partner's efforts. And if you don't know how to do this, because I didn't know how, a simple "I appreciate how you handle that" can go a long way in building reciprocal energy. When discussing relationship matters, focus fully on your partner. Put your phone away. Don't even look at it. Don't have it near you. And repeat back what you hear to ensure understanding and to show that their contributions are valued. Use digital tools to coordinate responsibilities and plan quality time together. It's a practical way to ensure both partners are actively engaged in their relationship. Because remember this, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't. Even if you flip it upside down all day, nothing's going to come out of that. And some people, the way that they act like they do, that it's going to pour into something, like something's going to come out of the empty cup. I've seen it. That's why I'm talking about this. And I don't want people to go through that, because the people that go through this, that make these mistakes, in the end, they become very bitter. And sometimes they don't realize they're part of the problem. And if you don't want to be part of the problem, you have to prioritize your own well-being so that you have the energy to invest in the relationship as well. Self-care, it strengthens your ability to demand reciprocity. When both partners invest equally, you build a foundation of trust and respect that deepens your emotional bond. It's a win-win for personal growth and shared happiness, which is where a relationship should be: shared happiness. Mutual effort fuels ambition. When you see your partner striving, you're inspired to push your own boundaries. Together, you become a powerhouse of achievement. Reciprocity eliminates resentment and builds a vibrant relationship. You'll find that everyday interactions become more fulfilling. It's true, it happens. I've seen it with myself and with others that have tried this. And long-term plans feel exciting rather than burdensome. A balanced relationship isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving together. I don't know why, but some people hate that word for a relationship. A relationship where you guys are together, where you guys come together. People don't like that for some reason. They don't like that concept about the relationship. And it's creating a lot of issues when it comes to dating and relationships. But when you are actually doing what I'm talking about, It creates a dynamic where both partners contribute to a shared legacy of success, joy, and resilience. So right now, take a moment to reflect. Are you putting in more work than your partner? If the scales are tipped, it's time to reclaim balance. Journal your efforts, set up a candid conversation, and demand the reciprocity you deserve. Because without this, without being reciprocal in your relationship, the relationship will fail. The relationship is going to crumble. You and the other person are going to suffer. You guys are going to get in stupid fights. And at one point, unfortunately, the relationship is going to end. And if you really love that person, if you really want to be with that person for the rest of your life, then you should fight for the relationship, right? Because when you and your partner come together, fight together, work together to maintain the relationship, love flourishes. The relationship flourishes. And you glow. And that's it for today. Share this episode with someone who might be stuck in a one-sided relationship. Let's build a community that values mutual support and refuses to settle for less. Your relationship should elevate you. And if it's draining you, it's time for a change. Stand up, speak up, and create the balanced partnership you deserve. And remember, the choice is yours.